Hello and welcome to DJL Exotics. I'm David and this is Lana. Today we're going through the 5 best beginner reptiles for you. We do have 2 housekeeping rules. Number 1, we are animal led, so if Lana here gets a little bit bored during the video, we will replace him. And secondly, we ask you to like, subscribe and comment on the video, but also to subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much and let's get on with the video. So there are numerous reptiles that we can keep as a beginner, and we're going to go through the 5 best, starting from what I consider to be the 5th best up to the 1st best. So the 5th best that we're going to start with is the royal python. Now the reason why this one is quite low down is because royal pythons, they are docile, they are calm, they are very good handlers. They don't really have that much in terms of advanced care. You know, you put them in the enclosure, you give them the right substrate, the highs and things like that, and they'll do absolutely fine. They live for a very long time. You know, the oldest one in captivity is about 80 years old. The average is around about 45 to 50 years. They can live quite a long time. They come with a lot of colours. You know, there are 8,000 different morphs of royal pythons. That being said, their one big disadvantage is that they can be fussy feeders. And what I mean by that is that the wrong colour and they go off their food. And it can be as simple as that, or it could be 1 degree off, or it could be the wrong time of day. And if you've got a little kid, if you've got a child that's got their first snake and their snake doesn't eat, and it can be for 2 or 3 months or even longer, I've heard of them going on hunger strikes for nearly 9 months, then that can be very upsetting for the child. So therefore I don't really recommend these as a first starter pet for those with young children, because them not eating can be very upsetting, and that in itself makes them one of the lowest ranked on this. But if you're an adult and you're quite happy to go through that potential problem, then they do make a very good starter reptile. The 4th on the list, I would say, is the Kenyan sandboa. Now the reason why the Kenyan sandboa is pretty far down the list is because of its inability to stay on the surface almost. They are a burrowing species, so they spend most of their time under the surface, so they don't actually pop their head out. But saying that, they are very easy to care for. They don't get to an enormous size. The females are only about 3 foot, and therefore they don't need a massive enclosure. They are boas, so they will readily feed, and that makes them a fantastic option for those who don't have a lot of space, but also don't want to have a snake that might go on a hunger strike. These guys feed almost every single time, and will probably feed a second time if you offered it to them, though that is not advisable. These guys are also readily available. You can go and find these from breeders, such as sales or in pet shops, and you can get all the equipment for them quite low priced. It's not that expensive because you could use a really useful box, or you could use a vivarium, and you could literally put in your sand or your aspen or your sand soil substrate like we do, and they'll be happy. You just don't even really need any kind of decoration on top, but that always makes it look a little more attractive, and they will actually engage with that at night. They also don't have many health problems either. They live life quite nicely. So that's why they're 4th on the list, because in terms of actual care, they're easier. The only problem that you're really going to have is that your Kenyan sandboa might not come out on top very often, so it'll be hard to see them. You might just think you've got an empty enclosure. 3rd on the list, I would say, is the crested gecko. Now this one is a bit of a harder one to keep because of the moisture that it requires. You do need to spray it down at 2 or 3 times a day, especially during the summer when it gets really hot and dry, or you would need to invest in a misting system. However, saying that, they are relatively easy to feed. You don't need to feed them live food. You can feed them a cresty powdered diet food which you mix with water, and it creates a kind of paste for them which they will readily eat. However, what I would say is that we've noticed that when cresties are fed exclusively on this, their growth can be a little bit smaller. Apart from that, you can create a lovely feature enclosure for them, so a nice tall glass enclosure with lots of plants, lots of branches for them, and they will live very happily in that. They're also relatively easy to keep. They don't really have any health problems. A couple of the negatives about them is that they are a little bit harder to keep. They're not entirely a beginner, but they are kind of. They don't need as much heat, but they do need that moisture, and they do tend to lose their tails at the smallest things. If you've got cats in the house, that could likely lead to a tail loss because they just get scared and they drop their tail. And cresties won't grow that back, they'll become what we know as a frog butt. So just be careful of that if deciding if that's the right gecko for you. Second on the list is the corn snake. Corn snakes are one of the best snakes that you can keep. They are readily available. They come in a range of morphs. They readily eat, so much so that they will rarely refuse food even if they're in shed. They are also very hardy. They don't tend to have many health problems. They are available in pet shops or from breeders like ourselves, and they love to interact with their owners. Gumball likes to come out for experiences here at the facility or even out at the events that we do. He absolutely loves it. We have other snakes that enjoy it too. Now, the one downside I would say with the corn snake is their rodent diet. There are many people who wouldn't like to have rodents in their freezer. You can solve this by having a second freezer for your snakes, so you can put the rats and mice in there, or you can buy the rats and mice on and as you need it. They only need feeding once a week. The other disadvantage is the handling. So these guys are very good at handling, but you can't handle them for 2 days after feeding or when they're in shed, and some children may find that a little bit upsetting because when they're a youngster that could be once a month, and when they're older that could be every 3 months on the shedding, but every week they can't handle it for 2 days because of their feeding regime. And finally we have the top, and as you probably guessed because one is on my hand, it is the leopard gecko. These guys are the perfect starter reptile. They are incredibly hardy, they are docile, they are considered one of the first domesticated reptiles because they will learn your routine, they will learn the routine that you have, and they will adjust to it. They are crepuscular in nature, but if you feed at midday, you can be guaranteed that your gecko will learn that and will start coming to the food bowl at midday to feed. They are also very good at handling. You can see that Lana here is out and about and just sat on my hand. You've also got the fact that they don't drop their tail very readily, they keep hold of it. They are absolutely beautiful. You can get them in lots of different colours and lots of different patterns, making them a real kind of interest in choosing one. They do get very attached to their owners. They will come to the front, and they do live for a long time, up to 28 years. The average is around about 15, but if you take good care of them, it can be up to 28 years. That is a long commitment, but it is a long time for a reptile that you can actually engage with. And without any major health problems, you do get a bit of shedding issue, which you can solve with a proper mist box, but you can also bath them, use a Q-tip and just rub it off. Apart from that, they don't really have many health problems. So I hope you've enjoyed our list of the top 5 best beginner reptiles. Please drop us in the comments which reptile you think should be on there. If you disagree with which order they should be, please let us know, we will respond. Also remember to like and share the video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Apart from that, we'll see you on the next video. Thank you very much.